Okay.
Okay, everyone. Is it 6 yet? Oh, 5:30. Yep. Okay, everyone, welcome back. We had an exciting event last week, and unfortunately, I just wanted to let you know that it was not recorded because mysteriously my computer shut off, and so there's no recording. However, we're going to figure something out to get the videos to you in another format, probably just the videos that they're already recorded, so you'll just have access to them, and so you really won't have missed much. So I just want to start off. I'm going to share my ghost story. Why not? So last week, if you know, I was at a conference, and the second from the last night that I was there, around 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden our bathroom light goes on, and our and the fan that goes to the light goes on, and which sounded almost like a jet airplane taking off. That was just this very, very loud fan. So I look at my roommate who's sound asleep in the bed next to me, and I'm thinking, I don't think she was just up going to the bathroom, you know. So I go and turn it off, and I go back to bed, and I'm thinking, I wonder if there's a ghost in here. I mean, that's just so weird for that to happen. So a couple days later, you know, after you get your survey. So it was hotels.com is where I made my reservation. So I'm scrolling through all the comments about this hotel because I had some issues there. And it says, well, if ghosts bother you, this is probably not a good place to go because there have been hauntings there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was me. So what had happened was, I don't know if you know, maybe 30, 40 years ago, there was a man named Jeffrey Dahmer who lived in Milwaukee, and he killed his first victim at that hotel. It was the Ambassador Hotel. So, yeah, needless to say, it kind of made me crazy. And so I'm thinking last week, my computer literally went blank. That's never happened to me in a Zoom. I mean, I've done other things in Zooms, but you know, this was like crazy. So I'm really thinking that ghost was out to get me. And so that's my story.
A good one.
That is a good
one. Anyway, I just want to thank Lori and Nancy for being here again tonight, and I won't say any more. And ladies, you take it from here.
All right. So Donna, can you just check? Someone put in the chat, is there a CC on your screen now? Like anywhere on your screen, is there a CC that you can hit? You see anything?
No.
Or even in your view options, other options.
All right, let's see here.
And then I'll share my screen and we'll kind of get started. But I thought if you can look for that, that would be great.
No, I'm wondering if it's no, I'm not. I apologize. I feel badly. No, I don't see that.
Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
Right, so welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. So we're excited to share the second part of this. So last week we did kind of an overview of what we do for the parents when we do these workshops, and we did kindergarten and first grade. So we did some phonemic awareness and phonics. And Nancy had put in the chat, and Nancy, do you want to post that again?
Sure.
Is our one, we call it the one pager. It's a front and back side that we share with parents to help them follow along when we are talking about these skills. But basically it's a great page that explains to them what these skills are and then gives them examples of those skills so that they kind of have a little bit more information. And then by presenting the workshop to them, we're hoping they get a little bit deeper understanding of it, so that when we, if they have questions or they want to know how their child is doing, they could always bring that into a parent conference and say, hey, you know, where is my child on this list of skills? And also we encourage teachers to share it with parents. So you have that, and you can use that as you would like. Nancy, do you want to, and I guess because we have people here that weren't here last week, I'll introduce myself, then I'll turn it over to Nancy. But my name is Lori Severino. I'm a professor at Drexel University School of Education, and was a special ed teacher for 26 years before I went to Drexel 10 years ago. And my goal at Drexel was to really bring the science of reading into our programming. So you come to Drexel, you will have, we are an IDA accredited university, so our program. So Nancy, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Scharf, and I am a literacy consultant to the Read by Fourth campaign. We talked about what that is last week, but I'll give a quick overview. Read by Fourth is a collective impact, bringing together all the nonprofits, universities, foundations in the Philadelphia area to do whatever it takes to support teachers and kids in reading and families in being able to read by the time they get to fourth grade. So Read by Fourth. And I work mostly with the teacher preparation and support group. And Lori Severino, who I've known for many years, was part of that group. And one of the things that we realized was we need to, provide parents with an understanding of basic foundational skills, the science of reading, and we need to give them materials that will help them play with their kids and do activities with their children that build their foundational skills. So Lori and I worked on this together with AIM Institute, who you see on the slide there, to put this together. And we have been sharing it now, Lori, for about 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah.
So we're really happy through Read by Fourth to be able to work with our partners like Lori and AIM Institute to put something like this together and make it available for free to anybody who wants it. So we're glad you're here. And what we want to do is go through the workshop. We did half of it last week, and then we'll do the other half this week. We're going through it more slowly than you would go through it with parents. And we want to give you time to ask lots and lots of questions and make sure you really are comfortable with not only the content, but how it's presented and how you will access the materials. So glad you're all here, and maybe we should get going.
Feel free to put any questions you have in the chat. So Donna will be monitoring those. Donna, if something comes up that we should answer right when we're on that topic, feel free to just jump in and ask it. Also, for the participants, feel free to unmic yourself if you want to and just ask the question right when we're in it. We have no problem doing that. So we're going to move on to the second and third grade phonics skills. Part of the magic at this stage is that when your child can read short one-syllable words with long or short vowels, they can combine them into syllables and start to read two-syllable words and then even longer words. So they're going to be able to recognize and read and spell a whole bunch of new words. So we're going to, from last week, if you were here, we have these little videos that are available on YouTube, just the video, each video themselves on the Read by Fourth YouTube station. And then also you will, at some point during the presentation tonight, have access to the PowerPoint that you can then use. We don't usually give it out unless people have gone to this kind of training where you've seen it and we talk about what we would say to parents and how we would describe things. But this is really set up so that you don't have to have all this background knowledge. The videos walk you through it so you don't have to think about, oh my gosh, am I explaining that correctly? We really put the videos together so that you could just use those and just facilitate basically in between the videos. So let me share my sound. There we go.
Now it's really detective.
Sorry. I'm trying to turn my sound up. There we go.
Time. Have you ever learned about contractions? Contractions are words that have been combined and then shortened. Contraction means to make smaller, like a balloon, when the air goes out of it. We say that the balloon got smaller or contracted. When a word is a contraction, it has been made smaller and there is an apostrophe to show where the letters are missing. So the apostrophe is a clue for a good detective. Here's a contraction for you to do some detective work on. Can't. Can you figure out what letters are missing?
I sure know what can't means. It means I can't do something. I am not able to do it. Oh yeah, it means I cannot do something. So the missing letters are the N and the O of cannot. So the word got smaller. It contracted from cannot to can't.
Okay, here's another one for you. Good detective. Can you find the two words that can be made into a contraction in this sentence? I do not like spinach.
Ha ha, easy. I don't like spinach. Do not becomes don't, and I have to remember to add the apostrophe, and I really don't like spinach.
So as you can see, it is a video that just explains the basics of contractions. And what we like to do with parents is now refer back to the one-page guide sheet, always taking them back to this guide sheet, which I think somebody commented last week, it's very dense with text. It absolutely is. And we had a lot of conversations about how to reduce it. But what we came up with is, let's just explain each of the entries. So if you look at that and you can say to your parents, contractions are second grade phonics skill number 3 on your guide sheet. So they can see that by second grade, their child should know how to recognize and make a contraction. Any questions before we move on to the next?
And Nancy, isn't this one of our most viewed YouTube videos?
This one and the next one on prefixes and suffixes has tens of thousands of views on YouTube. So that's a little bit of an affirmation that it must be a clear explanation. Yeah.
All right, so second and third graders also learn about prefixes and suffixes, which are small word parts that change the meaning of the word to which they're attached. Prefixes are added to the beginning of the word and suffixes are added to the end of the word. And if you look at the guide sheet in second grade, phonics number 4, and in third grade under phonics number 1, we talk about the prefixes and suffixes, and that's what kids are learning at that stage. So we're gonna play this video and then you're gonna have a chance to play with some prefixes and suffixes. If you were here last week, we did some online games. So we're gonna have the annotate button ready to go, but we're gonna first watch this video.
Now we're going to change the meaning of words by adding a short word part at the beginning of a word. These word parts are called prefixes, and they change the meaning of a word. Watch this. Here's the word happy. Now, what if I put un at the beginning of the word? Now it's unhappy. What does unhappy mean?
It means you are not happy.
Exactly. Un changes the meaning of a word to the opposite, like from happy to not happy. What happens if you add un to friendly?
You get unfriendly, which means not friendly. It's the opposite.
You are unbelievable. Now here's another, pre. See if you can figure out how the prefix pre changes a word's meaning. If I put pre at the beginning of the word made, I get what?
Pre-made.
Yeah, so if I go to the deli and the sandwiches are pre-made, they're made ahead of time. They're made before I get there. How about view? Can you add the prefix pre?
That's preview, like a preview of a movie. I get to watch some of it before I see the whole thing. I get a preview.
You got it. You got prefixes. Did you know that there are word parts that can be added to the end of words too, that change the meaning?
I sure do. They're called suffixes.
Yes, let's try one. Can you add to the end of the word play? What do you get?
Play turns into playa.
Yep, you like to play baseball and you are a great baseball player.
And I like to read. I am a great reader.
All right, so any questions on this? So you can see that the videos are set up to do all the explaining of the concepts. So you don't have to worry about doing that. And then we talked about last week, there's a packet of information that you can get access to the digital format. If you're doing this in person, you could print out the handouts for the parents ahead of time and have them for the parents. Or if you're doing it virtually, we'll kind of go through some activities that you can do virtually.
So, Lori, I'll take it. So I do want to note that all of these have written facilitator language. So what Lori and I are saying is all written out for you to accompany each of the slides. And at this point, there's actually even some information if you're doing this in person about how much time should have elapsed, so you can see whether you're on target for ending within a 2-hour period or whatever you had thought. So if it's in person, then you're going to have table activities. We actually have materials that you give to parents and some directions for them to play these games. And if not, we're going to go to the virtual. I have this feeling that this is not the virtual workshop that you're showing.
Oh, you're right. It might not be.
I don't think it is.
All right, well, what do you want to kind of take them through? I'm going to try, see, oh, now I'd have to stop.
If you can go, if you can go find, that would be great. So,
yeah.
Oh, actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have our own prefix suffix game. And here are just a few word parts. And you're going to get many more word parts when you go. You know what, Lori, maybe you're okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. Let me. Go back to where I was and share again. It's hard to get both screens working once I start sharing. All right, let me go back here. There we go. All right, so. Sorry. Back to it.
Okay, we're going with it, okay? So what we're gonna do is to ask your child to combine the word cards to build as many words as they can. And we just have a few word parts here, but in the take-home packet, you're gonna have many, many more. So right now, I want everybody, wherever you are, we're gonna give you 1 minute to write down as many words as you can think of using these word parts. So combine them any different way, and ready, go. I think that's a minute. Now, if you could just put in the chat how many words you were able to make from these 6 word parts. Ten, all right.
Wow.
That's
With-
good.
That's pretty good.
8, yeah. Great.
Is that the highest one so far? 10? I would think that's a lot.
That's a lot. Do we have anyone who is brave enough to read their list to us? How about Terry Graves?
Okay. I wrote it really small and scribbly. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Export, port, porting, exporting, react, acting, reactable, reacting, able, portable. Is that 10?
Yeah.
Pretty,
Woo.
pretty good for just those, like the 2 main bases, port and act. That you got a lot to come with 10 words for that. That's pretty good.
So what we're going to give you in the parent pack is a bunch of these word parts, and the kids can cut them out and then actually physically put them together and play with them and create all the different words. And they like doing that because it's sort of a game as opposed to, you know, just pencil and paper. So I think that's the activity with prefixes and suffixes. Let's go to the next one.
Yep. And I apologize because we had a much more interactive one, but I think we can still annotate on this one, Nance.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to just demonstrate how to play the contraction game. So this is a matching game where the child chooses, I don't know if you can see my cursor, like
Where
I have, and you ask the child to match those 2 words to the correct contraction inside the triangle. So let's see, I guess I can put on annotation. And I can say, here's I have, and I'm going to look and I'm going to say, well, there's probably a couple of letters missing. Oh, here it is. It's I've. I've and I have are a match. Do we have somebody who can annotate and help us with I am?
I'll try.
Okay.
There, you got it.
Yeah, all right.
Did you do draw? Oops, it's not
Yeah,
drawing.
draw is probably the one that you would get it if you, under annotate.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, look. Do you see it?
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
I am, oh, did somebody already do I'm?
Yes,
Yep.
Okay, good.
There you go. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna clear those. Oh, hold on. I meant to go back. Not having good with the controls tonight here.
So we want to do a clear, right?
Yep.
Well, how about one more? Actually, we have two more. You are. This is an interesting one because kids frequently write Y-O-U-R. And really understanding that it's a contraction.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah. So do we have somebody who can match it up?
Adults do that too.
That's true. Very good.
Yeah.
She drew a line to it. Very good. Nice.
Terrific. And then there's one that we always like to emphasize, and we want to talk about will not. Okay. So this is one that you may have to explain to your child. The letters ILL, all of this is dropped, and the O moves over. And so the contraction becomes, and it's already been circled, contraction becomes won't. And it's just an important contraction because unfortunately we use it all the time. And one way to help the kids remember is to show them that won't and don't rhyme. They have the same pattern, and that helps them to remember which letters to take out and make won't.
Any questions on, and there's cards again that the kids can match and just put over top of the circles. So that's an interactive game and the parents can keep that at home and play it anytime. Donna, do we have any questions about either of the games or the content?
Nope, not yet.
All right.
I see a question here that says, is that from FCRR? It's similar. But you'll see in your packet, we sort of imitated it, okay? But it's not FCRR, which is, for those who don't know, Florida Center for Reading Research.
But we did get permission for some of the activities to use some of their activities.
Yeah. So sight words. So now there's one last skill children must master, and it applies to every grade level. So on your guide sheet, you're going to see at the end of the phonics section for every grade, it says read grade level high frequency sight words that may not follow the rules. Lots of words do follow the rules, or should we say follow phonics patterns, but some don't. So for example, under kindergarten phonics skill number 6, if you can look at the page, and parents can look at the page, the word I follows a long vowel sound, open syllable pattern. But the words the and was are not regular and are not easily decoded by following common phonics rules. All of these words are considered high frequency words for kindergarten, meaning they're going to show up in lots of books that the kids are reading. So now let's look at the first grade phonics skills. Some of the words are what and could and said. They're all very common and very irregular. So what we want is our kids to eventually be able to see these and read them automatically so that they can become smooth readers. So now in this video, you're going to hear everything you need to know about sight words.
There are so many words your child learns to read. In the videos, we just heard about matching sounds and letters and reading words. And the more your child sees a word and practices it and reads it in a book, pretty soon He or she just knows it fast. It is automatic. It becomes a sight word. Your child just knows it right off. No need to carefully make the sound of the letters and blend them together. Your child just recognizes the words. So how do children practice words, and exactly what words do they practice? Well, first, you and your child can read lots of books at their level and learn lots of words. But also, you can practice the words that are most common in your child's books. And someone made a list of the most common words, a list of 100 most common words in kindergarten and first grade, and another list of the 100 most common words for first and second grade books, and a list of the 100 most common words your child should know by the end of third grade. Most words follow the rules we have been talking about here, but some of these common words, well, some just don't. Words like what, or was, or said, or enough. So if you want to help your child become a strong reader, again, most important, read books with your child. But also practice these most frequent words so your child will be a confident, happy reader.
So first of all, does anybody recognize the voice of that?
I was going to say that. Don't you recognize that?
We ran out of people who would do this. Like, okay, I'll do it. So I just want to reemphasize the point that the goal is for all words to eventually become sight words. You don't have to sound them out. You've done it a number of times. You've seen it a number of times. You just know it. And we want our kids to practice decoding using their phonics skills and eventually become so familiar that they can recognize them instantly. So, sight word, again, if we were in person, there would be table activities and materials that you can pass out to the families. And maybe this is just a good place to highlight, you're going to actually be able to do this 3 different ways. One is in person with, activities for the parents. 2 is what we're doing, which is the same presentation but made virtual. And the 3rd is it's all video recorded and voiced over. So all you have to do is play it. And so you're going to get it 3 different ways. I think we might have already said that, but hey, it's a good point.
All right, so we are going to look at, and again, this is my fault for not having our activities up here, but we just want to talk about how some of these words are, these are just some of the sight words that we want kids to be working on. Some of them follow the regular patterns of words. And so like help, the child can most likely tap that, sound that out, blend it together and get the word help. The same thing with set, right? So hand, those are ones that the kids will see and be able to use their tools to figure them out. And then there are some that are going to be, and some people refer to them as heart words now, right? Or words they kind of have to, what part of it is regular and what part of it is the tricky part. So helping kids to identify what part is the tricky part. So in the word does, for example, this one is hard for kids to spell it, right? This is, they might recognize it reading it, but what about spelling it? So reading and spelling go hand in hand. So when we're practicing reading these, we also want the kids to practice spelling them. And if we look at the word does, kids, when they go to spell it, they're a lot of times going to spell it D-U-Z, just like they hear it, or they might do the D-O and then just put an S on it. How I like to help kids figure it out is I have them think of the word do. I do this, but he does that. And so do is a part of does because it comes from the same verb, right? So then they just add the ES to it. And they're used to a lot of times when they're making the verb change, sometimes they add ES to words, right? So I try to talk to them about the tricky parts, and the D sounds just like the D. So let's talk about what the tricky part is and help them figure out ways that they can remember how to spell that. And things like over, the O sounds fine, the V sounds fine. And then if they don't know the spelling yet, or can be ERIRUR, but just having them look at that E as the tricky part. And so when they're doing over, E is the part they want to focus on. Everything else they can kind of get the sounds for. So we could talk to parents about just helping the kids practice reading these. And one of the activities they can do is there's stack. They can cut these up and have a whole stack of words and do time the kids, right? Kids love to be challenged. And so how fast can you read these words in a stack? How quickly can you get through them? And can you beat your last time, right? Or pulling out the ones that they know really, really well and just getting them to read them quickly, and then pulling out the ones that they still need to work on for reading or spelling. So having different activities for them to do with these.
And you're going to get all 300 sight words in the parent workbook packet. When we suggest when you print it on cardstock so that it can be cut up and they can be used as flashcards. So you're going to get the words printed on cards, but you're also going to get this long list. And this is a list of the 100 most common sight words for first and second grade. And you're also going to get the 100 most common sight words for kindergarten and first grade, and then the 100 for third grade. So 300. You can practice, as Lori said, with the list. You can practice with the cards, but you can also practice with the list and just a timer. How many words can you read in a minute, and then practice and then go back. We have a question in the chat. Do you use sight and high frequency interchangeably?
That's a great question. Great question, right? So I tend to do that when I'm talking about, because they occur frequently in text, so that's why we need to know them. And they might be words we want kids to recognize them instantly by sight, right? So I kind of use them interchangeably, and different districts that I work with call them different things. So it's whatever, they want to call them. But and we happen to pull the list. This is the list we did with Philadelphia, because that was our partner that we were working with to do this workshop. And so these are the words that they have in their curriculum. And I think it might have either been a mix of the Fry and Dolch. I don't know that it was one or the other. I think it was a mix of both. Is there another question in the chat, Nance?
No, I think we did it. But I do want to just emphasize the point that we call these sight words or high frequency words, but eventually we want, the vast majority of their words to be sight words. They're so familiar and they're so fluid that they are not, trying to get each of the sounds and blend them together. It's just, yeah, I know that word. I've seen it. I've said it 100 times. So essentially we want everything to become a sight word.
Right. And so then we move into, we talked about sounds. We talked about phonological awareness, the rhymes. When we did rhymes last week, we did syllables. We talked about beginning, middle, and end sounds of words. Then we started to go into the phonics for kindergarten and first grade. So making sure we map those letters and sounds and then start building words. And then we just talked about the sight words. And so for your child to enjoy reading, as it says on the slide. They need to recognize words automatically and read smoothly like they're talking. And these are the early skills that are going to prepare your child to be able to comprehend or understand what they are reading. Because we all know the goal is to read and understand and learn new things from reading. So we recognize that we're moving from, and as the child goes further into the grades, we want to move from having to really sound out words to having recognized words automatically by sight and being able to have smooth reading, because we know there's such a high connection between fluency and comprehension that we want to make sure we guide kids through that process also.
So you're going to see, as we've said many times, most of what you need to know in the video. But just, again, when your child reads a word, slowly, and it takes a long time to read the whole sentence, it's boring. It's boring to listen to, it's boring to read, and it's just a lot harder to understand. But when a sentence can be read smoothly, like you're talking, it's much more fun and it's easier to understand the meaning. So now let's take a look at this parent and child that are practicing reading smoothly in this video.
What's your favorite book?
Green Eggs and Ham. I read it in school and I brought it home.
Good. What is it about? What is the story?
This little cat is named Sam I Am. He wants the big cat to eat the green eggs and ham. But the big cat doesn't want to eat green eggs and ham. Yuck! But in the end, the big cat eats some of the green eggs and ham, and he likes them.
What is your favorite part of the story?
I like the part where Sam I Am and the big cat are in the air, and the big cat is saying all the places he will not eat green eggs and ham.
Oh, that sounds like a fun part. Let's go to the page and look at the pictures and then read it.
There is Sam I Am and the green eggs and ham and a goat and a fox and a mouse, and they are all going to fall in a boat.
That is a fun picture. Okay, now, how about you read starting here?
I will not eat them in a house. I will not like them. No, I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
You are a good reader. You know every word and you fixed your mistake. With some practice, you can read aloud and sound smooth like you're talking. Listen to me read the story. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
It is fun to read Green Eggs and Ham because it rhymes. I am going to practice.
This is him practicing.
He's pulling all
I
nighter.
practice reading like you do, Mom. Now listen to me read. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
Wow, you really practiced. You can read fast, but fluent readers don't just read fast. They read like they are telling a story and emphasize some words more than others. How about a bit more practice?
Okay, I got it now. Smooth and like I am telling a story. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
You are a fluent reader. Smooth like you are talking and with expression.
Woo. So the couple important things to notice, that the child chose the book. I mean, he said, this is the book I want to read. And the parent asked about the story, have an interaction, talk about it. The parent also said, what's your favorite part of the story? And let's look at the pictures and let's talk all around it before we go into the reading. So the parent is really making sure that their child comprehends the book, that it's a book they're interested in, and that he understands what he's reading. So we always want to make sure that children are reading books they enjoy and comprehend. We don't want fluency to be a drill that they have bad feelings about. So just that introduction was really important, that the book was chosen by the child and was something he was interested in. Any questions about fluency?
So if we were in person, we have, they would parents would pair up, and we have a story for them to practice. And it looks like so one of the things about improving fluency, right, is repeated readings and then showing them where they can practice and modeling for them what it should sound like the mom did in that story, right? So when you first start and when you're unsure of the words, you're going to read more slowly the first time you read something. And then when you practice it, you become smoother, and we read it more smoothly. And when we do that, we start to really get a picture of what's happening in the story. And so kids really love to see their progress. And so you might time your child reading a passage for the first time, right? And then, can they read it more smoothly and more quickly? But again, not really fast. Fast isn't the goal. It's smooth and quickly so that it makes sense. Right. And so maybe there's some words to go over that are tricky. We want to let them practice, just like we did in the video. He went and practiced on his own, and then he came back. And so having them kind of chart their progress. How are they doing? What's their timing on reading the same thing a couple times? And so this is just an example of reading phrases together. So especially for older kids that are reading those longer chapter books, we can take something like this, The Big Hike. This is actually from ReadWorks. So if you're not familiar with readworks.org, great stories on there that are all leveled by grade level. They have questions to go with them. So it's a great place if you just want something short that you can read together. And so this was a third grade story from ReadWorks, and it's called The Big Hike. But what we've done is already kind of phrased it out for the child so that when they're reading, they want to try and stick to the phrases that are kind of already grouped together to get them to practice reading in phrases rather than one word at a time, helping their eyes kind of move along the passage. So Tamara opened her eyes and jumped out of bed. And so practicing that, how we would say that based on the markings here. Most days she hated getting up early. So they could practice that a couple times trying to get those phrases together. Doesn't mean that when I work with teachers in schools, I get asked all the time about, does it matter where you scoop? There's different ways that you can scoop something depending on where you're stressing your meaning when you're reading it. So we could also at some point have the child scooping it and then having them read it out loud the way they scooped it and see if that made sense. It's another way that you can work on that, but not everybody has to scoop it the same exact way. There's no, there might be wrong ways to do it, but there's multiple right ways to do it, right? So we want to help them practice their smooth reading. And if there's any high frequency words that they still haven't mastered, we might want to go over those before they start reading to help them remember that those are in there. Any questions on the fluency piece? And so we would have something like this for the parents to practice working on fluency, one being the child, one being the parent. And we also have, for the parents, we have websites to get more stories and articles. So Kids Zone, they have books for all ages to read and books to listen to and games to play. And then also Starfall, which has a lot of kindergarten through second grade activities. In the at-home packet, you're going to find all the activities the parents would have to take home with them. It would require you to make multiple copies of them for the parents that are in your group so that they could take them home. There's more picture cards, more letter cards, more prefixes, more suffixes, contraction cards, and more high frequency sight words. So the things we would go over in the workshop, they're just little pieces of it. And for reading lots of books and becoming a fluent reader, you might need more books at home. And so these websites are ones that we've kind of looked at to make sure that they have good content on it. And there's a lot of freebies on here.
And this is actually just the Starfall website. It's a screenshot, and it actually starts with resources for kids to learn their ABCs, and it offers lots of other activities for learning to read and beyond. And Starfall will try to sell you some of these activities, but there's plenty of stuff on the site that's free. One of our rules is it's got to be free. But we want to promote Starfall because there really is just so much good content that is free on that website. And this is a chart that the kids love this. I don't know if there's anybody here who's Wilson certified, but I know I use this in Wilson. And this Look at Me Grow chart, kids love to use it for tracking their fluency growth. And so we just explained to parents, the first time your child for 1 minute while reading a passage, the very first time, a cold read. And then just note how many words they're able to read in that 1 minute. Then review any words that were tricky, support them by scooping phrases and let them practice, and then time them again, reading the same passage for 1 minute, and let them chart progress. And they love it. They love seeing that line go up. So in this example, on the first day, the child read 30 words per minute, then 40, then 50. And they probably can go beyond that. So that's available to you. It's available to parents to use with the kids. So, this is so maybe just to summarize, as it says here, the home classroom connection is where it's at. And if you think as a parent, your child is missing skills or is having difficulty, first thing you do is ask the teacher. And for more resources and more information, you can also check out Read at some point, right?
Like tonight. So, so if anyone, if you're here tonight and you go to the Facebook page, it'll be there, and you can help us out by doing this survey. It's really important to get this information so we can share with those who help fund projects like this, that we do have teachers showing up, and it's beneficial, and it's, that makes people that give all excited, right? They know that their money is going to a good for a good cause.
Donna, do you want to post the link again for them to get all the materials?
Sure.
In case they missed that.
Dana, I love this. I will be passing this on to many people and using it at my school. I will keep you updated. Yay.
And
That's
someone
what-
mentioned last week, they wanted to use it for Title I parent nights.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
you know, think about all the options that you have. You could use it in a classroom. You could use it for parent teacher conferences. You could use it for, you know, Title I training. You could even use it for train the trainer of newbies to the science of reading, because it really is really a, you know, introduction to the science of what good readers should be doing. And for teachers that don't know, this is great training.
Yeah, it's a simple way to kind of get the thoughts and get the vocabulary, right? There's a lot of vocabulary around the science of reading. So just kind of knowing what all those mean, and the big difference between phonemic awareness and phonics, right? There's a
Right.
difference there. And so that's, I think that comes out in the workshop anyway.
And please feel free to share this far and wide. I'll try to put it periodically on our site as well to get traction.
By the way, I know that there are a couple of schools that we're working with that are training parents to give the workshop. And again, because so much of the key content is in the videos, you can be comfortable that it's going to be, you know, shared with fidelity. And there's, of course, the videos that are pre-recorded, so nobody has to read anything. It's all pre-recorded, and that's another thing that parents can use and can be used more broadly. We have somebody from Australia.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so I just put in the chat the survey. So if you want to copy that, and then you can get right to it when you get off.
Yeah, originally when we started developing this, it was really so that we were thinking that a teacher could be a facilitator and have a parent with them, right? At like in schools, and do it together so that parents also saw that, hey, this is a collaboration between teachers and parents to do this together. And then once the parents feel comfortable enough to give it, then they just give it parent to parent.
Can I interrupt? Sorry.
Sure.
Yes.
I know that I missed the first session last week, and I know you said you had problems recording it. I'm been watching on my phone because I've been traveling in the car, but I haven't been able to look at the Google Docs, but the Google Docs will have last week's stuff in it as well, the ones that you shared today.
It'll have all the link. Go ahead, Nancy.
We'll have a video recording, not of exactly what we did last week, but it's a video recording of the introduction, K1 phonological awareness, and K1 phonics. So it's not Lori and me, but it is a great recording of the content. And I do want to just point out that the Google survey that Donna just put in the
Chat.
in the chat says that after you fill it out, you're going to get access to the materials. But actually, the other page you put in, Donna, has the access to all the materials.
Right. You know
So
what?
when-
Why don't we redo that survey so they don't get misled? Will you fix that tonight?
But you already gave it to them, right? Or you want to?
Guys, I can take it back.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, if you want, if we want it to be accurate.
Well, people just have to know they already got the material.
They already have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I won't post it tonight, or if I do, it's after you correct it, and then we'll put it up. So,
Okay.
okay. Anything else, anyone?
Sorry, I'm also a mom actually that I have not joined the first session, and I'm a little lost. And to be honest with you, I understand that you're providing us with information to help out children with reading comprehension and everything. But would you mind telling me, introduce yourselves? Because I'm sorry, I missed the first 5 minutes of this session, thinking that I will get what you said somehow through this whole presentation. And I'm a little lost. Is this information that you're providing to the parents free?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, and are you from the AIM Institute?
no,
No, you're not.
no. So,
Who
so-
are you represent? I'm sorry. I'm really
Okay.
sorry.
so, no, that's a great question. So, just to reintroduce myself, my name is Nancy Sharp, and I'm with an organization in Philadelphia called Read by Fourth. And it's all kinds of partners, universities, foundations, nonprofits, school systems coming together to say, what can we do to support parents and children in the effort to read by the time they get to fourth grade? Lori Severino from Drexel was one of the partners. Another partner was AIM Institute. So Read by Fourth and AIM and Drexel put this together for the benefit of the Philadelphia community, and we're making it available to the planet.
I see. And one more question. Throughout your presentation, you said we could do it on paper, and I'm assuming the parents will do it on paper. We can do it on video. So somebody will be dictating or helping the parents do it along, or seeing it on video. So I was confused. So how are you're providing this information and the parents can do it together with their child, but is it also a teacher that we could log in and have the child look at the video and do it with the teacher?
So no, it's not this is the training that was tonight, is just kind of an overview so parents can understand what the skills are that their child should know in kindergarten, their foundational skills. What should they know in kindergarten? What should they know in first grade? What should they know in second and third grade? And so we walked kind of through last week and this week, we walked through the progression of those skills and what they look like. And then we had different activities that the parents can do at home with their kids, but it shows in this session, we show you how you can do those activities and how you can show parents to do that. And if you're meeting parents in person, there's a packet of information that you can get digitally that you can give to the parents and show them how to use those materials. And then they could bring those home and use them with their child.
It's basically sharing information to other people too, so more people have access to all this information. Okay,
Correct.
great. Thank you. And I'm really sorry I took some
No
of your time
worries.
to explain.
No worries.
Oh,
Yes, thank you. But it
we're
was
glad
very
you asked
helpful.
those questions. That's terrific.
Oh yeah, so somebody's going to use it with their child at home. That's awesome. That's exactly what we'd love to see.
Okay, we have some people raising their hands. Mim, do you have a question?
I think that was from earlier. That was from when I asked how many people were here last.
Okay, because it looks like it just popped up, so.
Okay.
All right, I think we're done. Thanks everyone for showing up and for all
Yes,
that you
thank you.
do. For all that you
Thank
do.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep safe, everyone. Stay
Thank
healthy.
you. Yes, you
you.
too.
Oh, one more question. What is the site for the Facebook that I could go on that you said that I will find some information as well that we should join?
Yep, Science of Reading, What I Should Have Learned in College.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. It's in the chat. Awesome. Well done, ladies.
Donna, thank you for this. This
Yeah,
was
thank you.
a wonderful opportunity to reach a wonderful group of teachers. You know, the fact that they've all been working all day or whatever, you know, and they're here is
Here.
a testament to their commitment.
So many.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to
good.
stop the recording?
Yep.